Hey everybody, this is Tall Gamer Junkie. I want to welcome you all back to my channel. So yesterday I bought Batman Death in the Family, the interactive movie, and I gotta say I absolutely loved it, and I thought I'd tell everyone about this, what my thoughts were, and whether or not it's good. So I just want to say, when you go to buy it, make sure you buy the disc, because I bought it digitally, but that only gives you one of the endings, which is where Jason ends up dying in the warehouse. And you can't choose anything else. So you have to absolutely choose the disc version. Go and buy that. I got mine for $20. And so yeah, it's pretty cheap, but you know, that just because it's cheap doesn't mean it wasn't great. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and honestly, I would love to see the choices in this series, well, not series, but in this interactive movie. I would love to see it become actual movies, because there's a lot of good stuff in here. Even though it's short, it's like, if you've seen Batman Under the Red Hood, which is what this is based off, then you can like fill in the blanks in your head so you can catch up with the story. But you know, it's, even though it's different, it's still the same, and I thought I'd cover that here. Now, I'm not going to show like the videos. I will show screenshots, but you know, the way YouTube is, because this is a new movie, it'll probably get blocked sooner or later. So it's safer if it's screenshots rather than clips. So, anyways, let's get started. Okay, so when you first start off, you get an introduction, and there's a little bit of extra stuff that's added. They actually, what they did for this is they made the Killing Joke canon, so it's a part of this story as well. And they added a few other stuff as well. There's a few references to the Killing Joke in this as well, which I love, which is what I love, because if any of you haven't seen the Killing Joke, I recommend you go see it. Read the comic though, rather than the movie. The movie's okay, but it doesn't live up to the comic. So the intro plays out the same as it does in Batman Under the Red Hood. So Batman's on his way to the warehouse, and then you're presented with three choices. Jason dies, Jason survives the warehouse explosion, or Batman saves Jason. Now, if you choose the option where Jason dies, then it's going to play out exactly like Batman Under the Red Hood. See, you see, what happens is that Batman is telling Clark Kent, Superman, about what happened with Jason at a cafe, or a diner, to be more exact. So, it doesn't really serve a purpose. You're better off watching Batman Under the Red Hood than choosing that path. But if you want to watch it, I'm not going to stop you. Now, the other two options, they go into better detail about, like, that these two options where Jason survives the blast and Batman saves Jason, those two are much better. So we're going to start off with Jason survives the warehouse explosion. So in this version of Jason surviving, Batman arrives at the warehouse too late. There's an explosion, and he thinks Jason is dead. When he searches the rubble, he finds Jason. Batman's upset, but then he discovers Jason is alive. And he's like, oh, thank God, Jason, you're okay. So Batman takes Jason back to Wayne Manor to help him heal. And Jason spends 72 days recovering. But he's never the same after that. He hates Batman for what he's done to him, and his whole outlook on life has changed anymore. It's like, there's actually a line he says in the movie. He says, it's like I can see through walls, like I can see through people and see through their lives. It's like something like that. So he sees Alfred as a bad man for training Bruce to become Batman. He's like, what type of caretaker trains a kid to be a vigilante? He also blames Batman for what happened with Barbara, because if Barbara never became part of the Bat family, then the Joker wouldn't have paralyzed her. Because as I said before, this story connects directly to Death in the Family, so like that's part of this universe as well. But most of all, Jason blames Batman for himself. He kept saying to himself, I was fine before I met Bruce. If I hadn't met Bruce, the Joker wouldn't have done this to me. And so he abandons the Bat family. He runs out of the house, he's saying, no more family, never again. Well, not the house, the manor. So Jason sets off to become a vigilante, and he starts killing the criminals of Gotham City to make it a better place. He starts off with petty criminals at first, and works his way up. He ends up killing Cheetah. After she's been apprehended by Batman, he uses a sniper to kill her. He then kills the Riddler by chopping off his head. And then he kills Black Mask by shooting a missile through his office building window. The explosion sends Black Mask flying, and he ends up falling to his death into a gasoline truck where it explodes. And some people are actually condemning this. They're like, no, this is not allowed. Batman needs to stop his old protege. But some people are okay with this. Then they're saying, Robin is doing what Batman can't. He's stopping crime. You can actually see that crime has actually gone down. One of the reporters say that crime has been going down since the killings have started. And I gotta say that's pretty interesting, because with Batman's rule about no killing, and criminals keep escaping from Arkham, so it raises an interesting dilemma, you know. What would happen if Batman did kill? It's getting tongue-tied. If Batman started killing, could he truly keep Gotham safe? Could he truly make criminals fear him like that? Because, as you all know, Batman doesn't kill. And the criminals know this, so they're not as afraid of him as much. You know what I mean? So the next scene we see is Jason without his bandages. We can see half his face is burned, and he's sitting up on the church where he and Batman fight near the end of Batman Under the Red Hood. Then you hear a voice call out to him. It's Talia al Ghul. And when Jason sees her, he prepares to kill her. He pulls out a knife, gun, he's ready to kill her. But he stops when she opens up her robe, revealing a baby. And it turns out that this baby is Damian Wayne, the son of Batman and Talia al Ghul. And Jason is shocked because the files he read said that Talia lost the baby before she gave birth. But Talia lied to Bruce because she didn't want him to have to choose between his family and the Al Ghuls. But so Batman doesn't know about Damian. Now, what happened in Bosnia with the warehouse explosion? Talia explains that after nearly losing Jason to the explosion, Bruce cut all ties with her. Now, it's not clear whether or not he cut ties with her after he got Jason back to Wayne Manor, or after Jason started killing all the criminals. So, Talia tells Jason that Damian needs a father figure, and that Jason needs a family, and who better to raise Damian than him? And Jason's reluctant at first, but in the end he agrees. So, but Jason, what he's planning though, is to turn Damian not only against Batman, but Talia and Ra's al Ghul. So his plan is to raise the kid to hate both of his parents and to destroy them, which I thought was pretty interesting, and it's pretty dark. And, well, pretty dark, but you know what I mean, it's like a dark ending. Now, this is where that story ends, because if you choose the option where Jason survives the warehouse explosion, there's only one ending. But if you choose the ending where Batman saves Jason from the warehouse, we get new options, new branches of choices, which I'll cover right now. So, in the end, in the path where Batman manages to save Jason, he gets to the warehouse seconds before it explodes. He picks up Jason and he begins to run out of the building, but both Batman and Jason are caught in the explosion. Jason survives this, but sadly Batman is greatly injured because of it. And despite Jason's efforts to try and call for help, it's too late. There's nothing you can do to save Batman. Now, Batman, he tells Jason, "Don't kill Joker for killing me. I know the pain you feel inside you, but don't do it." He's basically telling Jason to, well, getting tongue-tied here. He tells Jason that protecting Gotham is what helped heal him, as well as Barbara and Dick Grayson, and he's telling Jason to rely on these other people, to use the hate he has for Joker not in a negative way, but to use the hate as a way to march on, to keep going forward. So after that, Batman dies, and you are now faced with a choice. Will Jason keep his word to Bruce and catch the Joker and lock him behind bars, or will he decide to kill the Joker? Now, if you decide to catch the Joker, it's actually pretty interesting, and I would love this version. If I had to choose out of all the versions, I would love this version to be actually made into a full movie. So, Jason keeps his promise to Bruce that he's going to catch the Joker and he's not going to kill him. He then decides to start tracking down the Joker, and this is when he becomes the Red Hood, because he's trying to lure the Joker out because the Joker is in hiding. So he becomes the Red Hood, as in the movie Batman Under the Red Hood, and he begins making a commotion. He's just starting stuff to get the Joker's attention with gangs and arms dealers, and what's funny is with Black Mask, he shoots a missile at Black Mask, and the missile goes forward, and then a little one breaks out and goes into the window, but it doesn't explode, except shoots out a little flag that says "Bang," which, as you all know, that's the Joker's signature move with some of his guns in some of the comics and animation. Now, this all ends up getting the Joker's attention, and he thinks he's setting a trap for Red Hood by getting a bunch of these gang members and putting them in a truck and pouring gasoline over them and preparing to light them on fire. But Jason actually set this up. It was all to lure the Joker, so he could capture him and put him behind bars. Now, what I like about this fight is that Jason actually fights Joker with a crowbar, which, as you all know, the Joker was the one that beat Jason with a crowbar. I'm not sure if it's the same crowbar that Joker used on him, or if it's a different one, but I guess it's symbolic in a way. You know what I mean? It's meant to, like, I can't find the right words for it, but you know what I mean. So after the two fight, Jason removes his Red Hood mask, and it shows that he's got the Robin mask underneath. And the Joker is surprised, and he's also happy. And he says to Jason, "Look at you taking after your papa." And Jason says Batman wouldn't approve, and he goes, "Not that papa, me." And then as they're talking, you find out that Jason actually broke his word, his promise to Batman. Now, he has been killing people, but his subconscious has been repressing it. So he has no idea what he's been doing. Like, I guess you could say it's like Black Ops with Alex Mason, how he thought Reznov was there, and how there were times he had out-of-body experiences, you know. Like, he didn't know what was real and what was happening, and that's what was happening with Jason. And you find out he ended up cutting off these heads of this gang leader and putting them in a bag, and then killing all these weapon traffickers. And you also find out he killed Black Mask. You see, what happened was, when he shot that missile and the little missile went into the window and let out the bang flag, there was this, I think it's a sonic emitter or something. It let out this loud sound. It reminds me of when Black Canary screams. And it breaks the glass. And the glass completely shatters, and it cuts Two-Face in half right down the middle. I gotta say, that's really the most gruesome death for him out of all the three. So, and Jason realizes he's shocked, and then the Joker's just laughing, and he's congratulating Jason, and then you end up having a choice. Do you kill Joker or not? And what's interesting is with the flashbacks, you can hear a voice in Jason's head, and it's like, kill them all, kill the Joker, because that's what the Red Hood wants. The Red Hood wants Joker to die, and you're presented with a choice whether or not to kill him. And whether or not you do it, it does have a slight impact, which doesn't really impact the story, but there are nice little things that you can see from it. So if you do decide to kill the Joker, afterwards, Jim and the police, they go on the bridge, they see the Joker dead with a bullet in his head. You then see Jim with Barbara, and she's crying and he's hugging her. We then see Alfred and Dick in the Batcave, and then we see on the Bat computer the Joker, and it says case closed. You then see the Joker's body getting cremated, and the last thing that you see is Harley Quinn, and she's crying. But it's not Harley Quinn with the face paint and all that. It's just Harley Quinn as Harleen Quinzel when she was a psychiatrist. Because I believe that what they're trying to say in this is Harley hasn't become Harley Quinn yet, but she had fallen in love with the Joker. Now, if you do decide to spare the Joker, Jason knocks him on the head with a gun and handcuffs him. And when Gordon and the police get there, they see the Joker singing Humpty Dumpty. And as he's singing it, it's meant to be, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. It's meant to be about Jason's split personality. So, you see Jason, he's going to Barbara and he's trying to beg for her forgiveness, trying to explain what happened. But Barbara tells Jason to turn himself into the police. It then shows Dick trying to arrest Jason. And he's dressed as Batman, and Jason is the Red Hood, and he's chasing him through a dark alley. Afterwards, you see Jason, and he's on the Wayne Industries tower. He then hears a voice saying Zor in R, and he turns around, he gets off like where the perch he was sitting at, and asks who's there. And we discover that it's Batman. Now, it turns out that Talia actually used the Lazarus Pit to bring him alive. Because it is actually a reference to Under the Hood. What happened was, if any of you have seen Under the Hood, you know that Ra's al Ghul felt bad for getting Jason Todd killed. So he used the Lazarus Pit to try and bring Jason back to life. But even though Jason's body was alive, his mind was fractured because of it. But because Bruce had a strong mind, he was able to keep like a fragment of his sanity. And what's interesting is that Ra's al Ghul was against Talia using the Lazarus Pit to restore Bruce. But, it worked better for Bruce than what it did for Jason. And Talia is telling Jason that she wants Jason to join the League of Assassins because of all the good work he's been doing. And she says that Batman wants it as well, because Batman is actually, when he started getting his costume, he started wearing the clothes that Jason did. And Jason's saying, what you've done to him is monstrous, I know Batman, and he would never want this. And so this results in Batman and Jason having a fight, and you get the choice, live or die. If you choose live, Batman and Jason run up to each other. Jason gets stabbed in his left hand, and his right hand has the knife near Batman. Jason pulls back, revealing that the hand he's using is a prop hand, like the Joker used when Jason fought him. And Jason uses his real hand to use a taser to incapacitate Batman. Talia then shoots Jason in the head because he's wearing his helmet, and says that the League will tame his fiery spirit because Batman couldn't. Jason throws his helmet at Talia and says, "Tame this," and then he explodes the helmet. Just then, Dick arrives in the Batwing, and he sees Bruce, Talia, and Jason. It's not clear what happens to Talia, but Jason is welcomed back into the family, and they try to help Bruce. Barbara ends up becoming Oracle, the information broker that supplies Batman, Nightwing, and the others of the Bat family with information when they're out in the field. Jason decided to retire for a while, like not return to the field until he was feeling better, and he burns the Red Hood outfit. And then you see Jason, Alfred, Dick, and Barbara. They're sitting in this corner. Alfred's reading a book, and you see Bruce is in a straitjacket in like a padded cell. Well, it's not a padded cell, but it's like one of those cells that you could see in Arkham. And then you find out what the words mean that he was saying. Zor in R. He's remembering words from when he was a child, and the words are actually Zorro in Arkham. And that's where that one ends. And it also there's also, with the death one, that's also an ending too. There's no continuation after that. Now, with the death ending, it's a little similar. Red Hood and Batman, they rush each other. Jason gets stabbed in the hand, but he stabs Batman in the chest. And Talia looks shocked, and Batman falls back dead. Jason takes off his helmet, and he crouches down beside Batman. And Batman says, Zor in R. And he opens the palm of his hand, and there's a detonation device. And Jason, he just kneels there. He doesn't try to get out of the way. He just accepts his fate. Then bang, the explosion happens, and you get to see the burnt, crispy bodies of Talia, Batman, and Jason Todd, which is it's pretty gruesome. I like the animation of the corpses. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. And so then that's the end of this route of what happens if Jason chose not to kill the Joker. Now we're going to start with what happens if Jason did decide to kill the Joker. And just to clarify, I'm not talking about killing Joker on the bridge. I already explained that. I meant killing Joker after Batman dies at the warehouse in Bosnia. Alright, so if Jason decides to go against Batman's dying wish and kill the Joker, it plays out similar in the beginning, where they're at Batman's grave, where he's buried with his parents, and Jason says that they have to capture the Joker, but really he just wants to kill him. And you see that Jason, as he's healing, some superheroes come to visit. Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Dick, and it's just pretty interesting to how they all talk about Batman, how despite having no superpowers, he was one of the best members on the Justice League. So after that, it looks like Jason's starting to heal because he's opening up, he's talking to people. He then goes to a diner, and now this is the diner that appears in the storyline where in this one, not in Under the Red Hood, in Death in the Family, where Jason dies. So it's the same diner where Batman is telling Superman what happened with Jason Todd. So Jason's sitting there and he meets this man. And there's getting tongue-tied, and the TV has a news station on where they're talking about Batman. And the man goes, that's not Batman, that's just Nightwing. You have to keep the myth of Batman alive. If people found out he was dead, then Gotham... If people found out he's dead, then Gotham will go into chaos. And now, what's interesting about it is that this man is actually the Joker, but he has painted over his white-colored skin, well, his albino-colored skin, and because without Batman, there's no reason for him to exist, so he's trying to live a normal life now. And at first, Jason doesn't realize it, until the Joker says, want to hear a joke I told Batman? And he's telling Jason the joke that he told Batman in the Killing Joke comic series about these two inmates trying to escape, and one of them says, "I'll shine a flashlight so you can walk across the beam," and the other inmate goes, "I'm not an idiot, you'll turn it off when I'm halfway across." And after that, after the joke, Jason says, "Well, if I see the big man, I'll tell him you said hello." And that's what the Joker. Those were his last words to Jason in the warehouse. And you see, Joker gets this big smile on his face and says, "Boy wonder." Then Jason grabs one of the utensils, a knife, and stabs it in the Joker's eye. And Joker falls back, and you see his hands, they wipe off the paint he's got to cover his albino skin. He's laughing, and then he dies. After the death, two police officers in the diner try to arrest Jason, and you're given a choice: surrender or attack. Now, if you surrender, this leads to an ending where it shows Jason, he got a life sentence, and he's in prison. And being in prison, that means that he can punish all the criminals for what they did on the outside. And you see, he's got like tattoos on, and he's got jailbird on it. So I think that's what he's going by now, because Robin's a bird, so it's jailbird. But if you choose to attack the police, Jason won't kill him. He knocks him out, and then he becomes Red Robin. And it's similar to the other path for Jason, where he survived the explosion and he's killing off the criminals, except he's wearing the Red Robin outfit. You don't see Riddler's death though, but you do see. But the way he kills Black Mask is different. What happens is, Black Mask sees him on the building. Jason flips him off and fires a rocket launcher. The rocket launcher goes through, and the explosion ends up sending this door flying, and it cuts off Black Mask's head. It's pretty awesome. So after that, we see that Jason is at a shopping center, and he's fighting Two-Face and two goons. He easily kills the two goons and gets behind cover and is shooting at Two-Face. When Two-Face starts shooting, Jason runs to get to another piece of cover. But then Two-Face pulls out a grenade and he throws it to where Jason is. Jason quickly jumps out of there, but the explosion sends one of these stands, like what you can see there where it says jewelry, it sends that flying and it knocks him in the head. After he gets knocked out for a brief bit of time, you see Two-Face walking towards him. Jason goes to get his gun, but Two-Face shoots him in the hand. Jason then tries to get a taser, but Two-Face kicks it out. And Two-Face is going to Jason, who did we kill for you to want to get revenge on us? Girlfriend, father, mother, and Jason's like, screw you. And so Two-Face decides to let the coin decide Jason's fate. And it's here you get to choose what the outcome is, because you see, the option comes up saying the Red Robin will die tonight because of Two-Face. And, well, not because of Two-Face, but it's like the Red Hood will die tonight, and so you get to choose. Do you choose the coin with the heads of the normal side, or the coin with the head and the scratch side? Now, if you choose the coin with the normal side, Two-Face says that the verdict is guilty. And he goes to kill Jason by shooting him, but he gets tasered by some kid. Then Jason gets up, he gets his gun, and tells Two-Face to go to hell. But right before he pulls the trigger, the kid tells him to not do it. And he's telling Jason that he doesn't have to kill Two-Face, that Two-Face can be locked away in Arkham. And Jason tells this kid, evil cannot be caged, it can only be killed. And the kid goes, that's not true, it can be rehabilitated. And what makes this scene so interesting is that the kid is actually pointing a gun. It's not the taser gun, it's one of Red Robin's guns. The kid's pointing at him, and it looks like he's gonna shoot him. And so he's like, and the kid's telling Jason, "You've become the bad guy. You're the villain here." And you can see that kind of realization that strikes Jason. You know, it just hits him where he lives. The kid goes on to explain that he used to stand for something, and whatever made him start killing Two-Face isn't going to bring back whatever or whoever it was that he lost. And it's then that Jason starts realizing what he's become, and he's remembering Bruce's words, and when he looks over, you can see that there's this memorial on one of the signs, and it's from Dick Grayson. It's like Dick Grayson's memorial service orphanage thing, and it's a fundraiser event, I believe it is, and it's from this realization that Jason lets Two-Face live. And so this kid actually redeems him back to being who he used to be before the warehouse, before Batman died. So he thanks the kid. Well, he doesn't really thank him. He says, like, "You're a stubborn kid." He asks the kid his name, and the kid says Tim Drake, which is, as you all know, the third Robin. Now, after that, Jason is rehabilitated. Well, not rehabilitated, he's reformed. And there's this narration where he's like, "It took a kid to make me realize what I'd done, how far I'd gone. It took a kid to bring me back to who I used to be." And Tim Drake, what's interesting, he doesn't become the third Robin in this. He actually becomes Bat-Kid. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Now, in the last ending for this video, when Two-Face flips the coin, he gets a scratchy coin, and which is like the burnt sides faces coin. So he goes to kill Jason, and Jason tells him to just get it over with. But then Two-Face says, "Look at you. You used to fly off the best of them. Now you're nothing. You're being hunted by Batman. Gotham hates you. I can't kill what's already dead." And this really hurts like Jason on the inside, but not as much as what Two-Face says next. Two-Face says, "I'm going to let you live and let you continue living as what you are, which is a perfect failure." And then Jason remembers Bruce's words about not getting revenge on the Joker, and how after he killed the Joker, he was like, "I know I failed, Bruce," and that's like a depressing part for him. And so Two-Face leaves Jason to live his miserable existence. Then after that, Jason quits being the Red Hood, and we see him in the cave with Barbara and Dick. And they're looking at at Batman's costume. So that's the end of all the endings there. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'm sorry I couldn't show everything for the endings, you know, but I've probably shown enough that this video is probably going to get demonetized or just in trouble, you know. So anyways, that's the end of this one. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. This is Total Gamer Junkie, signing off.